wanna get high, man?
Let's stimulate your mind.
Get up, Chucky!
What have we got here? A fucking comedian.
Rojan Kim?
California dreaming.
Hello, and welcome to the Rojan Kim cast. It's me,
West Coast
Kim. Thank you for joining me again today, this lovely March 30th, 2020. I know, Domini, the Common Era, Jesus time, whatever you want to call it. Thank you for joining me. You having a good quarantine? You having a good quarantine in this quarantine time? Are you doing Are you starting to make up songs about it and be like, oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling, quarantine? You starting to lose your mind a little bit. You starting to kind of get a little hairy. Like, literally? Are you starting to get a little hairy? Are you not shaving? Are you fucking neglecting your hygienic duties? Are you just acting like you want to act? You know? Not having to go out in public so much anymore. You just want to wear some fucking sweats. And you don't want to have to shave all the time. Whatever. Just be comfortable. Can we go back? You think we're going to go back after this? After everybody's all comfortable? Everybody gets all comfy? You know? I mean, we went from wearing suits and hats to wearing sweats everywhere. You think you could possibly go back? You think the sweats can get any looser? You know what I'm saying? You think, because we had a trend of tightening. Everything was being tighter and tighter, kind of feminine, kind of tighter. You know what I mean? Like back in the 90s, it was all baggy. Everything was baggy. You know, and that's the way, because things used to be tight in the 80s. So then in the 90s, like, it's baggy again, baggy. 2000s was a little bit of a lost cultural time period. It was just kind of a mishmash. And then I feel like into the late aughts and the first early teens, we started getting this shortening, tightening, everything. You know, now everybody's like, motherfuckers are wearing pants where you can see their dick outlines and shit. It's just like, come on. Do we really need that now? Is this pandemic an opportunity to dial that back, the tightness? This is this is what I'm taking a stand on, guys. This is very, very important, okay? Loosen up the pants, please. Please loosen these pants up. You can't, and, don't get me wrong. I don't mind the yoga pants, just being a hetero, being a cis-het male with my male gaze and my dirty male self. I'm like, all right, fine. You want to wear yoga pants, ladies? That's fine. You guys, the guys want to start wearing them. Jesus. All right, that's fine too. The thing is, with guys, you get you got your mushroom print showing. You know what I mean? You got your moose knuckle showing, and is that all right? Are we just saying we're okay with that now? Maybe we're okay with it. Maybe we could just wear kilts. Maybe we went back to kilts. No moose knuckle. Everything's still kind of femme, but it's loose. You know what I mean? I don't know. Hey, listen. I'm not one to go with the crowd. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So here I am. Hey, guys. Well, thank you for joining me. I don't know what happened there. It was weird. That was a weird aside, completely unplanned, and I don't even know if that was worth. I should erase this. It's a good 3 minutes of me just rambling about pant tightness. That's what America needs. You know what America needs, though? I'll tell you right now. America needs some more misinformation. I think that's. I think we don't have enough misinformation, and I think it's great that the media is colluding with the government to make sure that we're as retarded as possible. I find that, of course, the public is always, what was it? What was Mel Brooks playing King Louis the 14th in 16th? I don't know. Fucking King Louis. He was King Louis, remember, in the history of the world, and he was like, yeah, the peasants are revolting. And he says, yeah, they stink on ice. And that's how they feel. They being the elite. They is not like the Illuminati or like, lizard people or anything kind of sinister or anything. I'm just talking about the people who are supposed to be informing us, the people who are supposed to be leading us, the people who are actually supposed to have responsibility. And that's why we say, hey, you guys can have more money and more power and more access. We're okay with that. Go ahead, guys. You have it because you are there to have our backs, right? And then I feel like when push comes to shove, when disasters happen like this pandemic, and if you think about financial crash, Hurricane Katrina, if you think about, you think about all the disasters we've had, 9/11, the government doesn't have a great track record. I just don't see why we would continue putting our faith in the government when it has failed us continuously. Listen, JFK really fucked up the generation before me, right? The assassination of JFK, the assassination of Martin Luther King, the assassination of Malcolm X, all these assassinations fucked a lot of people up, including the Vietnam War. By the time I was a kid and growing up, all my school teachers, they're all fucking, they both lionized JFK. JFK was the greatest man on earth, and then they were traumatized from the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War was so bad, the Vietnam War, and then there's something happening over there. What it is, I'm not exactly clear. It's like it's people just like fucking got the PTSD, and then just talking about it's not Charlie's in the trees, man. Charlie's in the trees, man. Stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. I mean, that's how traumatized everybody was, the generation before mine. From the wars and shit, from the wars. And then Nixon was the worst man ever. The worst man. Nixon was the worst. Nixon, by the way, ended the war in Vietnam. I mean, he also illegally expanded the war to Cambodia and Laos, but he ended it. Started the EPA too. I'm not here to defend Nixon. I'm just saying it's just the political cycle. It's just what happens, You have the great man is the guy who got us into the war that fucked all of us up, JFK, and the bad man was the guy who got us out of the war. But he's a bad man, And so that's, hey, what can you do? Vox populi, right? The people, voice of the people. And the thing is, the people, they're fucking crazy. The people are insane and dumb. And that's part of the people. I mean, not as individuals. I'm not saying like you as a person. I'm just saying the mob, the herd. I think by its nature, herds have to be dumb. They don't have time for nuanced behavior and trying to figure things out because you got to fucking move at once. Herd behavior, survival behavior. It's like predators chasing us. We all got to go this way. We can't be like, hey, should we go this way? We got to go this way. If you want evidence that herd behavior exists in human beings, just fucking go online. Okay, besides that. All right, go online. Go to YouTube. Type in 100 versus 1. That's all you got to do. Look at some cool herd behavior. One of my favorite ones, 100 versus 1. 100 versus 1 is just a prank segment on a Japanese game show. It's like Punk'd, right? Except what they do is they get 100 extras and they pick one target. I don't think you could do that in the States because of liabilities and shit. People sue the fuck out of you. But Japan, thank God, their laws allow for this sweet entertainment that you can watch. 100 versus 1. It's fucking awesome. Okay, so 100 extras. Pick one person. And these 100 people just surround these. Sometimes they surround them slowly. Sometimes they fucking run at him like a mob. You do, and then, most people will naturally run away because it feels like they're coming after you. It's just instinct kicks in. It's fight or flight. Interestingly enough, some people will stay still and do nothing and just keep walking. And the crowd just moves past them, right? But one of the things that was really eye-opening to me, and I learned is an actual phenomenon, is when they have 100 people surround one person, and then they all of a sudden, on cue, duck at the same time. And when they do that, the person who's a target will duck too. I mean, it's just instinct. Just everybody ducks, you duck too. I mean, you just can't help it. And I looked it up, and apparently it is some kind of like reflex response that we have, probably because of big birds. Seriously, probably because of giant carnivorous raptors that used to swoop down and grab our babies or us. I'm imagining they weren't that big. I don't know how big these fuckers must have been. We must have been smaller, and they might have been bigger. So they might have been able to carry a fucking grown man. Maybe one. Maybe if there's like two of them fighting over a grown man, they could tear him to pieces or something. I'm just saying, we used to live in a time where big birds swoop down, tear the shit out of us, and that's why we all do this duck thing. It's fucking nuts. It's fucking crazy. Anyways, herd. You heard? You know, and that's part of it. You got a herd mentality, herd immunity. You know, yeah, you herd with purd from Parks and Recs. You remember that? Anybody? Am I all alone in remembering purd? Hold on, what's that? I'm lighting, like Lil Wayne lighting a joint. Hold on. Yeah. All right. Young Reezy. Okay, guys. So fuck. I have a list of things I want to talk about. I've just spent 10 minutes rambling about pants and fucking her Japanese game shows. All right. All I want to talk about is misinformation. We need more of it, right? Here's the one thing I want to talk about. It's interesting that CDC, that everybody's all like, oh, Trump cut. Well, anyways, it's interesting that the CDC said that masks don't work. However, there is a mask shortage, and they desperately need masks. So if they don't work, why do they desperately need them? Perhaps what's really happening here is that the masks do work. They do help. There actually is evidence that they help some. I mean, it's not like an N95 mask. It's not actually filtering out particulate matter, but the viruses are suspended in water droplets. The water droplets can get on the mask, right? The viruses are speculated to have a large corona. The crown, it might get stuck in the mask. You might have the virus exhaling water vapor, and that gets stuck in the mask instead of going out into the rest of the world, right? If we all operate under the principle that instead of us trying not to get it, which is a selfish thing, but think more about like us trying not to spread it, which is more of a compassionate thing, a giving thing, right? A thing where you're considering others. Then it makes sense why masks are good, why masks work, especially in the case of something like coronavirus where it's asymptomatic. It seems to be half the people are spreading this shit without symptoms. Seems to make sense why if you wear a mask, it would help. And especially, I would say, I think where masks maybe should be mandatory are very high dense areas like New York, you know, places with public transportation, places where hundreds of people have to be in cramped spaces, you know, because they have to. You know, that would be probably prime time for mask and glove, you know, just some kind of mask and glove protocol. Now, so masks do work. In fact, people are. There's a news article I just saw from the Czech Republic or Czechia that says that they've managed to flatten the curve, and one of the things they've done is mandate homemade masks. Everybody make their own masks, right? So that everybody wears them. They're homemade. In America, what we have are people making homemade masks and sending them to hospitals because the hospitals don't have masks. So why the fuck do we have this mask shortage? What's going on here? Did we just run out of masks? Are there just no masks? Could it be? Is that what the hell? What's going on? So one of the things that became obvious is that the reason why the CDC is telling the public not to wear masks or buy them is because they're afraid of people stockpiling them and then eliminating the basically the supply from the hospitals. Why is this even a problem? Like, of all fucking things, nobody's asking the question, why is there a supply chain problem? Right, why this is a supply chain problem? Like, there's not enough supplies coming to the hospital. What the fuck is going on? Well, apparently, most of our hospital stuff comes from, guess where? China. Comes from China. We did that. We did that under the Bush and Obama years, right? We decided to, well, not just us. Well, I mean collectively, but I just mean like businesses, private hospitals, all hospitals, really. What they decided to do is instead of stockpiling stuff, in the olden days, we would have factories in America that would make this stuff, and then we would buy them and have huge stockpiles of them, you know, just because it was here and we could have it, and you might need it for a rainy day. I mean, that was just the thing. And then eventually what happened was those factories were moved overseas because it was cheaper, okay? And then what else was cheaper? Instead of getting stockpiles, just getting inventory just in time. That's what they call it. They call it just in time inventory. So look, we're going through 100 masks a week. I mean, that's a low figure, but I'm just saying. Go through 100 masks a week. We're just going to order 100 masks and get them shipped over here next week from China. So every week there's a shipment from China coming with 100 masks, and we don't have to worry until there's a pandemic, and then shipments from China stop. Factory work in China stops. China closes its borders, right? Suddenly, we don't have no more masks. Suddenly, the masks are running out because we were needing them at much, we need so many more masks. And Nobody has them because is it the public? You blame the public for stockpiling? See, that's the whole thing. That's a very interesting thing that I see happening from both the government and the media is that let's blame the public for stockpiling. It's your fault the hospitals don't have enough masks because you're so greedy and you have all the masks. Okay. That's fucking dumb. You understand how dumb that is? I'm kind of, frankly, look, the only power we really have as Americans is consumers, right? The vote, yeah, right? The vote, yeah, okay, like, come on. Our rights are being rescinded left and right. But what do we still have? We've got the power of the dollar, which is being devaluated, but whatever, that's the next podcast. Power of the dollar compels you. The power of the dollar compels you, okay? That's all we got, guys. All we got is the ability to vote with our dollars, the ability to buy stuff, the ability to... the market. It's the only thing we got. The only thing they respect... The only thing those motherfuckers respect is money. It's making money, the market. So how dare they say that we can't be the market? So this is the thing. They're saying it's your fault, public, for buying all the masks. It's your fault. Okay. So you're blaming the public for the short supply and the increased demand. You're saying the public is at fault for the demand? It's not the public's fault. The public, you know whose fault it is? The fault is the person who limited the supply. We got 100 guns for every person in this country. You know that? Like if we wanted to, every single person could go out and get 100 guns, right? There's fucking millions of guns. A billion guns or some shit in this country, all right? So I don't think it's a problem of manufacture. I think if we wanted to, we could make a shitload of masks. Everybody could have 100 masks. Why not? Right? If everybody can have a car, why can't everybody have 100 masks? Right? So it's not an issue of supply in the sense that we don't have it. We do have it. It's all in China. That's the problem, right? So then, of course, everything is going to be bought up here because there's no fucking masks. They're all in China, right? And CDC comes out and says, hey, everybody, don't buy up all the masks. They don't work. We need them, right? Doesn't make any sense. Now what you have is social pressure online, right? You got people online shaming you. So this is very interesting, right? Culture, especially in America, you know, this sort of mishmash of Western, Eastern, Western, old and new world, you know, like all the immigrants and fucking whiteys and immigrants, and the whiteys are immigrants too. Like the fucking Mexicans they want to keep out, they were here first, whatever. Hey, it's all absurd. Anyways, adding to this absurdity is the way shame operates in our society. And it's interesting to see it all come down now. It's interesting to see how it's happening with the mask thing, right? Because before the pandemic, if you wore a mask out in public, you would be ridiculed and shamed for wearing a mask. It's like, whoa, what's wrong with you, man? What are you, sick? What's wrong with you? You fucking, what's going on? Were you a doctor? What's going on, man? Yeah, I mean, the only time it'd be appropriate to wear a mask is if you were in mortal danger of inhaling particulate matter or something, you know, asbestos. You know, if you were in like complete, total danger, I could see, you know, most people are okay. Or you had a gas mask on, you know, because you're fucking a riot police guy or something. I don't know. I'm just saying it's like occupationally people were like, okay, but in public, no. Whereas in Asia, you know, it's become a thing because, you know, if you're sick and you still go to work, you wear a mask. It's, you know, they've gone through pandemics. They have a lot of population density, and they also have this idea of sort of the other comes before you, so you're actually protecting others. So it's fine. So people are like okay with you. In fact, in Asia, what you're finding now is that there's actually the mask shame goes the other way. If you're not wearing a mask, you're getting shamed. You get the weird eyeballs. The fucking people get away from you. Like, you're the sick one. You're the gross one because you're spewing out all your fucking shit, right? You're spewing it out and you don't even fucking care. And you fucking everybody's just like, ew, gross, right? That's what's going on in Asia. So in America, what's crazy now you see an increase in people wearing masks. It's becoming socially acceptable for people to wear masks from a public health standpoint, which I don't mind it. It's not bad. I could see where people might mind it because of, you know, political revolutions and Antifa and stuff like that. But other than that, you know, in terms of a public health thing, it's fine. However, you can now see that there's mask shame going the other way of people shaming people wearing masks by saying, well, now you're wearing those masks and the hospital people can't get them. Shame on you for being greedy and wearing those masks as the hospital people can't get them, right? That's where the shame is coming from. And now you have people at home making masks, homemade masks to send to the hospitals instead of having people in the public wear masks themselves, sending them to the hospitals because the hospitals still don't have masks because of the supply chain issue from China, like I mentioned. Not because people are buying them up. I mean, sure, that's part of it, but how is that really the issue? You know what I mean? There isn't a separate inventory for the public and for hospitals. I mean, that's kind of dumb, right? Like, all this stuff seems like you should have thought of instead of blaming people for doing what people do, right? Meanwhile, look at all the time we've wasted. Time we could have been, flattening the curve. Time we could have been doing this because masks do work, okay? They do have an effect. All the PPEs, personal protective equipment, all that stuff, it works. It helps you not get it, and it helps you not spread it, okay? The shit works. So now, think of all the time. Imagine if early on they were like, the CDC or whoever was like, listen, they do work, and we kind of fucked up, and we're working on that as soon as possible. We're gonna get some factories up and running. We're gonna get some of the shipments in. But yes, we are out of masks because of the supply chain issue. However, we encourage the public to make your own masks and wear them. Wear them to help stop the spread. In fact, we could have maybe instead of doing this whole shelter-in-place thing and crashing the economy, we could have done sort of a cultural thing where we wear masks and gloves and go outside and limit the spread in that way. We could have had more testing. We could have more people taking temperatures. There's so many other things you could do instead of, I guess, just nothing. And this is a step up from nothing, which is a semi-quarantine, right? Not even a full-blown quarantine, which I kind of get. I don't know. I don't see a federally mandated full-blown quarantine going well in this country, no matter how much everybody's like, Trump should have done more. Trump should have done more. Listen, if Trump had fucking locked this country down, people would have screamed that he was a Nazi. People would have been like, it's happening. It's happening. Okay? People would have lost their fucking minds. So this is it. This is what we got. This is what we got because we are the greatest country in the world. The greatest country in the world with the worst healthcare, and we got freedom. And, and so these are all reasons why. And we ain't going to wear masks like no pussy. See, and these are all reasons why we are where we are. So, yeah, I blame Trump. I do blame Trump. But you know what? I blame Pelosi. I blame everyone. Schumer. I blame fucking McConnell. All those bitches. All those motherfuckers. I'll throw them all on the pile. That's what I'm saying. Guys. Revolution, if a revolution comes, you think we're going to be on the side that wins if we don't unite? You know what I'm saying? It's like the political elite has all the power. They got the guns, they got the gold, they got the power, they got everything. Okay? All we got is the numbers. We got the market, right? Purchasing power, right? We are the demand, right? That is our power. That's the only power we got left. So we got to exercise it, What does that mean? I don't know. Buy Trump commemorative coins. And no, I'm just kidding. I don't know. Nobody buy gold, man. I don't know. I wanted to get into this whole other thing. Do I have time? I mean, I'm 23 minutes in. I've only got so much data left on my plan. But Wednesday, maybe all right. Listen. I'm going to go into a little preview or signpost. That's what they call it in the oratory and the essay writing fields. Those aren't fields. Okay, a little bit of signposting here. So I've been getting really into geopolitics, clearly. I've been into geopolitics for a while. I've been, I fucking had a poli-sci degree. I loved fucking revolutionary movements. I love fucking history of China, history of Korea, political history of China and Korea and the East Asia. I was all into it. East Asian politics, communist revolutionary movements, fascist movements, like all that stuff. Loved it. And ever since then, I've been, whatever. I'm not some fucking expert, but I try to do my best. I do my best, and then, I think one of the things I got out of school, besides we actually don't know anything, that is really what, you get. You pay enough money, and then they tell you the secrets of the universe, and the biggest secret is really that we have no idea what's going. I mean, it's not that we don't know, but we don't know. It's not like we don't not know, but we don't know. Does that make sense? Like everything is ultimately probability. The hardest of hardest science, the hardest of fields that say this is objective reality. It's all probability. It's all probability, right? Even money, it's all probability. It's a fair bit of guesswork, and in life, in general, just the idea of an asteroid hurling through space and hitting us. It's probability. Yes, there's physical things that all occur. The physics of the asteroid coming, the velocity, the impact, the impending nuclear winter or whatever would happen to us. But before any of that can happen, there's the probability of it happening, right? And the probability is not high, but on a long enough timeline, it is there, right? I mean, it's not that like it's not going to happen. It's just more unlikely to happen in your lifetime because of that scale. But say you could live 100,000 years, then in that scale, maybe. I mean, I forget what the last big one was, but wasn't it the 1800s or something over Siberia? I don't know. There's every few hundred years is a little one, and every few million years is a huge one. But anyway, it's all probability. So in that way, you kind of feel like, oh shit, what's the point of following anything when you don't know what's going on? But you gotta admit, man, fucking world politics has been crazy. I mean, I got out of school in 2000, right? It was like 9/11 was the next fucking year, right? And ever since then, we've gotten into fucking 7 wars. We had a black president. We fucking, shit is going down. China, the rise of China, the fucking all this shit going down. Like all this stuff's going down. So it's been very interesting, and it's been also informative to be able to kind of like seek out and understand, or try to understand, the context of all this shit happening in America as relative. What am I trying to say? It's interesting seeing what's going down here as sort of a reflection of what's going on in the rest of the world, and how we are inextricably connected to the world, not just because of globalism and because we're in war in 7 countries and we are the global hegemon and the world empire like Rome and all of that. Beyond all of that, it's just very interesting. I love people. People are fascinating to me. And so for me, politics is always sort of mass psychology, right? The idea of I was interested in psychology in terms of the individual because I'm crazy. Well, I mean, not just me, my dad, and everybody in my family. I've just basically a lot of crazy people in my family. So I'm like, what's up with that? Wanted to go learn it, So I did. Then I started getting interested in political science, which is a little bit more of like, what's up with the behavior of lots of people all together, countries and whatnot? What's up with that? And so now I find myself interested in things like economics and money, monetary policy. What's going on with me? Am I turning into my dad? With If he was around, I would know what he was like. He's not around. Here's the thing. I think I grew up kind of with antipathy, you know what I mean? Like with kind of just like hating money and money people. I grew up in the 80s, so there's like a real like Reagan sort of bro-y Reagan rah thing, and my dad was basically kind of like one of those Reagan Republican guys who was super into real estate and Wall Street and super into money and just super not into me. You know what I'm saying? Like super not into me. I mean, I think about, had he been a good father, he could have included me in a lot of his crazy, Michael Keaton Wall Street schemes where he blew all that money and didn't really end up taking us anywhere or anything. But anyways, I'm kidding, guys. I'm not that broken up about it. I've had plenty of therapy and psychedelic experiences to kind of come to the truth of the matter that, my dad valued that more than me. So it makes sense why I would reject it totally and be like, you know what? Fuck money, man. Fuck money. Fuck chasing after it. Fuck money. I'm taking on debt. I don't give a fuck. Give me the student loan debt. I'll take on more. I don't give a fuck. Do I need to pay off this debt? Fuck no. I don't give a fuck about it. And now, 42, still have a lot of debt. But, I haven't paid any of it in a while. I haven't really been able to. And honestly, in some ways, the more you learn about the whole enterprise of student loans, you realize it's a criminal enterprise. The whole point of student loans, here's what happened with student loans. See, back in the day, back in our parents' day, the generation before, you could work a part-time job and put yourself through college. That's how cheap college was. That's how affordable it was. And yeah, you're like inflation, whatever. No, but all of that evens out. Like you should be able to work a part-time job now, put yourself through college. That should just be a thing you should be able to do. What happened, though? What happened, guys? So what happened is instead of letting us, the people, the market, decide through supply and demand how much colleges should cost, the government stepped in and said, hey, we're going to give loans and guarantee these loans. We're going to back these loans with the power of the federal government, make sure you go into school. We're going to pay these loans. And so the schools are like, sweet. So we don't have to base our prices on supply or demand. We could just jack up our prices and the government will loan money to kids. Fast forward 20 years to now, and you basically need to put together, like to go through school, you need like 5 to 6 figures at least, right? You need to fucking take out a loan. You need to take out loans. Not even to get a house anymore, to get an education that actually isn't really paying off like the way a home could. I mean, even a home is a risky investment, but an education, come on. I mean, you've heard, the fucking, all those like, look at me, psychology, political science. I mean, it's fine. It's the social science. It's still fucking humanities. You know what I'm saying? And it's still, I came out of it just learning, we don't really know. I mean, we do and we don't. I mean, it's important, but it's not, it's like, you know what I mean? Like it's, I could have gone to a trade school, I could have been a plumber, become much more, useful and probably wealthier. Honestly, probably plumbers make good money. Plumbers, we'll never run out of them, too, right? If you're looking for something to do, plumbing, there you go. Plumbing, electricity, those are all things. Trades are things that people need. Meanwhile, here I am. I just have useless knowledge and information in my head, and I've dedicated the last 9 years to making strangers laugh in public and being humiliated for it. And you look at me now. I mean, I don't feel regret. No regrets. I don't feel bad. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I feel bad about it, but I'm just saying, things could have gone this way or that way. Things could have gone this way. Whatever. Things could be different, right? Especially with the whole money thing. It's not like it's not even like that whole rich dad poor dad thing. You know what I mean? It's not like rich dad poor dad. It's more like no dad. So, anyways, I just brought that back for that joke. I think I just lost my whole train of that. Oh, okay. The whole point was those college loans, student loans, criminal enterprise. Fuck them. I ain't paying them because they jacked up it's a racket. It's a racket. Government jacked up the price, backed the money. We're footing the bill for it. You know what I mean? And so, I don't know. Hey. And so on some level, I understand people are like, well, that's irresponsible, and that's my taxpayer money that's footing for you, and the same reason people don't want to give other people health care, because they don't want my tax dollars to be free for you. Meanwhile, your tax dollars, okay, never mind the 7 wars that have been going on before this point. I mean, that's all your tax dollars. Nobody's asking how we're going to pay for that, or nobody's going like, I don't want my tax dollars droning some kid in Yemen. Like, I don't understand why the people who are like, I don't want my tax dollars paying for some welfare queen is not being all like, I don't want my tax dollars droning some kid in a hospital in Yemen. I don't want my tax money drawn in a wedding party just because some guy's cell phone was left in a car. You don't hear that going on. I don't know. America's a crazy place, you know what I'm saying? We don't wear masks. We don't wear masks. Masks on, mask off. It's okay to wear a mask if you're Cobra Commander, but you can't wear it if you're a Joe. It's a weird place. It's a weird place. A lot of crazy psychology going on. A lot of crazy stuff. Wow, what a crazy tangent I went on. I started with the pants, and now I'm here. I'm talking about, I kind of drifted in geopolitics. I said I was going to signpost what the fuck I was going to talk about the rest of this week. Instead, I just babbled about Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Oh, God. All right. What was my point? The point is, I don't pay my student loans. Okay. The point is, an asteroid could hit any time. Imagine what kind of a sucker I'd feel like for paying my student loans. If I had been paying my student loans this whole time, you understand how pissed I'd be at myself while this pandemic's going on? Because I ain't going to be paying no fucking student loans during this pandemic. It's all a racket anyways, and they fucking jacked me for this fake money, so I'm jacking them back. And honestly, I don't care if the taxes and blah blah blah. The taxes I still pay taxes, and the taxes that I'm paying for go to droning some kid in Yemen, and I don't want that to happen. Okay, I don't want that to happen. But there's nothing I can do about it. The only thing I can do about it is not pay. That's the only protest I have, is to extricate myself from that. From that market. It's not even a market. It's rigged. The whole thing's rigged. Just like the CDC rigged the mask thing, the fucking rigging the elections, the fucking rigging McDonald's monopoly, the Wall Street, the fucking goddamn Dow Jones, the goddamn Forex market, the cryptocurrency. It's all rigged. It's all rigged. It's good to get this out. I don't get to perform anymore, and this is all I got. This is all I have. Guys, this is all I have. Thank you for listening. Interestingly, this is actually completely similar to what it's like when I do stand-up. Right? It's just me yelling into a microphone and complete silence, uncomfortable silence. That's I'm just imagining just people, they're still listening to this, but just uncomfortable. I don't know why you're subjecting yourself to it, but these are crazy times. All right. So I was gonna, did I signpost? I didn't. Here's what I'm gonna do. All right, next episode, I'll do a little geopolitics talk. I'm gonna talk about what I think is going on. I mean, not me. I'm not some fucking genius. What I think is going on based on what other people think. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna repeat some stuff I read. How's that? But it's stuff I read from multiple articles. So it's not just one article. It's different articles. They check each other, and now that stuff, I come up with stuff. It's a combination of things other people have said that I am going to say, but it's not necessarily I'm not some fucking brilliant genius who's like, aha, this is what I think. Otherwise I'd be up there writing these articles or working at one of these places. It probably wouldn't be talking about how I refuse to pay my student loan debt. You know what I'm saying? It probably wouldn't be one of the things that I would ramble on and on about, aside from wanting looser pants, okay? I probably would be more useful again. Just like as if I was a plumber, I would be more useful if I was one of these people in those think tanks or whatever the fuck. But in terms of, all right, next episode, I want to talk a little bit about geopolitics. I want to talk about China and the supply chain. I know, a little bit about it, but I want to talk about how that relates to Russia, not Russia, the stupid shit they're talking about with Russia, and our elections. That's dumb. I'm talking about Russia driving down the dollar, the petrodollar, actually. There's a little thing Russia's doing with Saudi Arabia right now, a little spat they're framing as a conflict between the Russians and the Saudis. I don't know. I'm not going to get crazy into it next time, but something I want to talk about. I'm talking about what I think is going on sort of this macro level in terms of geopolitics. It's a Russia, China, gold, money, gold, oil thing. And then if I have time, maybe I want to talk about a little bit about how I've been getting into the markets. Stocks, Forex, crypto. Just looking though. It's not a good time, guys. It is not a good time to invest. It is not a good time to sink money in. It's just right. It's that they're printing money like crazy. They're dumping it into stock. Everything's being manipulated right now. It's just that meme going out, the money machine go brr brr. That's what's going on. So I would say it's a great time to watch. It's a great time to watch markets, learn the markets, learn how they are, watch the instability, see if you can find the instability. And the stability. See if you could find patterns. That's what I'm doing. Just trying to learn. So maybe I'll talk about that a little bit more. Of course, there's going to be other shit I'm going to be babbling about because that's just me. But if anything, thank you again for listening. Please subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, Google, Apple. Go to YouTube. Subscribe to the live feed of this. And go to Twitter and Instagram. Hit me up. Thank you for listening. Bye.